The Polar Express, written and illustrated by Chris Van Allsburg, produced by the Evanston Winter Media Camp. On Christmas Eve, many years ago, I lay quietly in my bed. I did not rustle the sheets. I breathed slowly and silently. I was listening for a sound a friend had told me I'd never hear. It was wrapped in an apron of steam. Snowflakes fell lightly around it. A conductor stood at the open door of one of the cars. I put on my slippers and robe. I tiptoed downstairs and out the door.
All aboard?
The conductor cried out. I ran up to him.
Well,
He said.
are you coming?
Yeah, where am I going?
I asked.
Why, to the North Pole, of course.
Was his answer.
This is the Polar Express.
I took his outstretched hand and he pulled me aboard. Soon there were no more lights to be seen. We traveled through cold, dark forests where lean wolves roamed and white-tailed rabbits hid from our train as it thundered through the quiet wilderness. We climbed mountains so high it seemed as if we would scrape the moon. Lights appeared in the distance.
There
Said the conductor.
is the North Pole.
The North Pole. At first we saw no elves,
They are gathering at the center of the city.
the conductor told us.
That is where Santa will give the first gift of Christmas.
We all asked.
He will choose one of you.
Shouted one of the children.
The elves!
Outside we saw hundreds of elves. As our train drew closer to the center of the North Pole, we slowed to a crawl. So crowded were the streets with Santa's helpers. When the Polar Express could go no farther, we stopped and the conductor led us outside. In front of us stood Santa's sleigh. The reindeer were excited. They pranced and paced, ringing the silver bells that hung from their harnesses. It was a magical sound like nothing I'd ever heard. Across the circle, the elves moved apart, and Santa Claus appeared. The elves cheered wildly.
Ho, ho, ho!
He marched over to us and pointed to me, said,
Let's have this fellow here.
The conductor handed me up, and he asked. Santa shouted out the reindeer's names and cracked his whip.
Dasher, Dancer, Prancer.
His team charged forward and climbed into the air, then disappeared into the cold, dark polar sky. It broke my heart to lose the bell. When the train reached my house, I sadly left the other children. The conductor said something from the moving train.
Merry Christmas!
He shouted. The Polar Express let out a loud blast from its whistle and sped away. Years passed, it fell silent for all of them. Even my brother found one Christmas that he could no longer hear its sweet sound. Though I've grown old, the bell still rings for me as it does for all who truly believe.